Hello, let's talk about Chapter 2 homework. Let me label my document here. I forgot to do that before we started. So this will be Chapter 2, Exercise 5. Now this is not the form you're going to use. That's a different document, and I'll bring that up in a minute. But I want to start again with the little text boxes that I showed you in Chapter 1, how to use that. So again, I went to Insert, Text Box. I chose the first one, and I would have to be out of that text box. First one right here, I inserted it, I emptied it, and then I've copied it out multiple times just so I have some text boxes I can use as we do this. So number 5 says, Norbert Catering is famous for roast beef sandwiches. The store's owners want a program to estimate the number of pounds of roast beef a customer should purchase given the desired number of sandwiches and the amount of meat per sandwich. Typically, one sandwich has 2 or 3 ounces of meat, but some like 4 or 5 ounces. Complete an IPO chart for this program. And then it gives you some desk checking numbers. So I want to say up front, desk checking numbers never go in an algorithm. They're used to check an algorithm to make sure they're working correctly, but they should never be anywhere in the algorithm. They're not part of any definition. They don't go anywhere. So first off, if you have put desk checking numbers in your algorithm, you need to fix it. You've done it wrong. That's a heads up. And I'll talk a little bit more about desk checking if I get time. All right, so we need to calculate pounds so that the person knows how many pounds to provide the customer, right? But it's entered in ounces, so keep that in mind. Most of the programs here, excuse me, are always going to have enter, calculate, display. Remember we talked about that in a previous video. So here we go. So first up, we know somebody's going to need to enter what? They're going to need to enter, let's see what it says down here. Enter the number of sandwiches. Okay, and I'm going to put in another box. We have to enter the ounces per sandwich. All right, so that's our input items. Okay, number of sandwiches, ounces per sandwich. We know that's what we're going to need, right? So let me pull up, while I'm at this, I'm going to pull up another document, and this is the algorithm document you should use. So here you're going to put in the program purpose to calculate the pounds of roast beef needed per customer based on the number of sandwiches and the ounces per sandwich. Okay? Input. What are the inputs? Okay, the inputs are number of sandwiches and ounces per sandwich. Over here under description, you could expand upon that. Descriptions contain no desk checking numbers. Okay, so where I have inputs are always entered. So notice over here I put enter number of sandwiches, enter ounces per sandwiches, because inputs are always entered, right? What are we trying to get out of this program? Our output is number of pounds needed. Okay, now in this description I might put for my notes, okay, this is in pounds, but the user enters ounces, I will need to convert. Okay, there are 16 ounces in a pound. Now, you don't know the math, you didn't know that, you look it up or you can ask me, okay? I'm not asking you to remember all the mathematical stuff, but you are going to have to know at least how to ask questions, right? So let's talk about a processing item. A processing item is something neither entered or coming out as output. No in-betweens there, right? Entered, it cannot be entered, and it cannot be output. And that's a processing item. Let's leave that blank for a minute, okay? Then this is my algorithm. Now, algorithm I'm working on over here. Why did I put it in the text boxes? You know why. I might need to move it around just like I did here. And I had a box up under there, okay? So we know we need to enter the sandwiches and we need to enter the ounces per sandwich. What I tell you is almost always next is the calculation, right? C-A-L-C-U. All right, calculation. So we're going to calculate pounds. And what would that formula be? Well, it's going to be number of sandwiches times, let me find my little multiplication symbol here, number of sandwiches times ounces per sandwich, right? Divided by 16. That's because it's in ounces and 16 ounces is 1 pound, okay? So that's how we calculate the pounds needed. Then what do we need to do? Well, we need to show it to the user, so we're going to display the pounds. Now, is that all we do? Yes. We don't have a program that's looping around. We have a program with basically four things needed. I'm going to get rid of these extra boxes that don't need them. So the user should enter the number of sandwiches, enter the ounces per sandwich. I'm going to then calculate in the program the number of pounds needed by multiplying the number of sandwiches times the ounces per sandwich and dividing by 16. And then I'm going to display the pounds needed. Okay, what is the purpose now of desk checking? So once I have my algorithm, this is my algorithm, I would copy this statements and put them down here under algorithm. Before I do that, I want to make sure my algorithm works. How do I do that? Well, let me get my, I'm trying to get my cursor to come down, but it's not going to want to. Okay, how do I desk check this? Well, here's what I would do. I would, bear with me, I'm trying to clean it up a little bit. Okay. So I've got all my little statements here. All right. Now I would say to myself, how many sandwiches? Well, the first thing it says, use 50. 50 sandwiches. Right? And then it says 4 ounces. Right? So I have 50 sandwiches and 4 ounces equals how many ounces needed, right? This is going to give me the number of ounces needed. So I'm going to have 50 times 4, which equals 200. And I have to divide that by 16 because that's part of the calculation. So let's divide that by 16. So I need 12.5 pounds of meat, right? All right, does that seem correct? It says 50 is sandwiches and 4, right? So 50 sandwiches, 4 ounces each, which becomes 200 ounces needed, divided by 16 means 12.5 pounds. That's what you do with the desk checking. Desk checking does not go in the algorithm. That is for you to check to make sure your algorithm works. That's all that's for. So then you're going to come over here to the algorithm and you're going to just copy these statements. Like you could come in here and go copy, where does that go? Well, that was the first statement, like that. Hit enter. You can plop back over here and go, okay, I had entered the ounces next. I'm going to copy this, pop it back in over here, paste, and you see what I'm doing. And I'm doing this until I get all these statements in order over here, put into the algorithm that you turn in to me, okay? See how that works? Now, again, why did I take the time to make these text boxes? It seems harder that way to you, maybe? Okay, remember that I did this because this gives me the ability to play around with the boxes in case that I am not sure what order I want them in. Sorry guys, sometimes it is a little funky. So suppose I had first put them in this order. Okay, what would be wrong with this order? Enter number of sandwiches, calculate the pounds, then enter the ounces. Obviously, this won't work. Why? Because you can't calculate something before you have all the data in. So putting them in the little boxes like this allows me to put my thoughts in and then rearrange them into what will logically work. So that's your hint for exercise 5 in chapter 2. Something similar works for number 6. I won't do a video on that. I probably won't do a video on swap the bugs, but we'll see. I may have to do one on it too. So heads up, have a great weekend.